Entry 72. Vanilla Ice woke me from my nap to the news that the Joestars defeated the younger Darby brother. He was only employed as my butler, so this was expected, but Vanilla Ice said Darby lost after being very close to victory. He successfully captured Noriaki Kakyoin's soul, it seems, but he failed to follow through with Joseph Joestar and Jotaro Kujo. It seems his resolve was not strong enough. Terence T. Darby, a man who was able to see and claim souls. The younger Darby brother was a genius, unmistakably so. I can say without bias that he truly had the ability to win. Theoretically, he should have won. And yet, he lost. Yes, he was bound to lose, because his resolve was weaker. The problem, the cause of his defeat ultimately, was his amount of resolve. With him gone, as far as I know, the only stand that can control souls is Pucci's white snake. His significance, his importance has increased. I do not know to what degree he feels friendship for me, nor whether I can consider him a friend whom I trust from the bottom of my heart, but whatever the case may be, with these developments he has become indispensable to my goal of attaining heaven. Speaking of which, what about Vanilla Ice? Vanilla Ice and his stand, Cream. Though I have not pierced him with a flesh bud, and certainly have not turned him into a zombie, he nonetheless has an abnormal level of loyalty towards me, Dio, enough to cut off his own head. I wonder if that loyalty could be substituted for resolve. I do not know. I do not know whether that is resolve or not. Could one equate abnormal loyalty with resolve and preparedness? Or are they two completely different things? Is mere loyalty unsuitable for heaven? I suppose I will find the answer in the results. He decapitated himself for my sake, so I gave him my blood to revive him. I fear that in exchange for his new, exceptional body, there is a possibility that he will suffer an extreme loss in stand power, but I do hope he has an ability to overcome that. Entry 73. My previous entry was interrupted by another report from Nukesaku. One team of the Joestar group was waylaid by Darby, but the other group, Jean-Pierre Polnareff, Mohammed Avdol, and Iggy the dog, defeated Kenichi. The illusions set throughout the whole mansion have rescinded. Once again, the only stand that can create illusions, as far as I know, is Enrico Pucci's white snake. There is also good news. Just after Kenichi lost, Vanilla Ice did it. Mohammed Avdol has died. The user of the flame stand was swallowed into Cream's subspace, it seems, and this time there is no possibility of any unwanted surprises, such as Avdol returning to life again. After 27 consecutive losses and sacrifices, we have finally managed to snatch a precious victory. This could not have come any later. Vanilla Ice now opposes Polnareff and Iggy. With his stand ability, he should certainly be able to eliminate them as well. After giving the report, Nukesaku went to eliminate the other team, Joseph Joestar, Jotaro Kujo, and Noriaki Kakyoin. Nukesaku is a zombie and not a stand user, so I did not think he could oppose those three, but being driven to this circumstance, I could not stop him. Nukesaku. When I created him as a zombie, I reused my combining technique, just as I created hybrids of animals and humans. Just as I, Dio, am a hybrid between Jonathan's body and my head. Nukesaku is a hybrid zombie, with a woman's face affixed to the back of his head. My experiment to see if a zombie could possess several souls was a failure, it seems. It might be useless to have performed experiments on the undead, but still, one could say that Nukesaku was my last such experiment. He is a man with essentially no fighting ability, and to be perfectly honest, he is completely ineffective. But I have a strange sense of affinity for him. Perhaps I should say I just cannot hate him. Unlike the younger Darby brother and Vanilla Ice, he lacks loyalty. When he loses to the Joestar group, I'm certain he will betray me. But until that point, I must respect him as one of my precious underlings, a man that goes off to fight of his own will, a comrade with whom I am connected in this world 100 years in the future. I must not stop him. I've just thought of something. I will write it down just for fun. A century ago, I made many two-faced zombies like Nukesaku. I would frequently perform tests in which I would combine two separate lives into one, although I had not distinctly hypothesized the event of losing my body. Among those tests, after a large amount of trial and error, I believe I had an experiment that replaced the hands of a zombie with the hands of a human. This was 100 years ago, so I cannot remember all that clearly, but in that process of trial and error, I may have made a careless mistake in which I created a human with two right hands. Much like Enya the Hag and her son Jay Guile. I doubt it was Enya herself, but perhaps it was her ancestor. If that is the case, then I have a deep connection with the witch who taught me about stands so long ago. I am making assumptions upon assumptions now. These hypotheses sound a bit absurd, and I have no way of verifying them. But if I am to hypothesize, it's possible that my meeting with Enya, the person who broke the seal of my 100-year slumber, was guided. The treasure hunters, who stupidly mistook my coffin on the ocean floor as a treasure chest, naturally became one of thousands of slices of bread. Yet, those were only a few people, only 3 or 4 people's worth of nutrients, not enough to cure a century of hunger. And it was located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. With the midday sunlight pouring down, even if I was riding inside a cabin cruiser, I could not hide completely. If Enya the Hag had been just a few days later in meeting me, I would likely have completely dried up, either because of the sun or because of hunger. Enya's arrival at my location on the sea was... yes. I learned of it from a tarot card reading. That is what the hag said, though I did not believe it. After all, there were those who knew 100 years ago that a monster drowned in that area. I thought she simply heard that information and spread a net. I even conjectured that the treasure hunters may have been her subordinates, and she simply lied regarding her fortune-telling. She merely had some ambition and was looking for an opportunity, I thought. But it seems I was reading too much into things. In the end, she told me the truth. For me, it was as if I had suddenly been transported a century to the future. Enya filled me with knowledge of the present, and most importantly, she taught me about stands. When I asked her exactly what she wanted, this is what she answered. My desire is to be by your side. Stands are guardian spirits, and your guardian spirit possesses an incredible power. That is the effect of leading a strange life with very bad luck. I want to see your life. That alone is enough for me. Perhaps that really was all she wanted. Perhaps she was not a sacrifice resulting from an experiment I performed, but rather a test subject. Were it not for her, I surely would not have been able to adjust to the world of the future. That is how much the world has changed during my slumber. In those 100 years, time has accelerated. Enya described stands as guardian spirits, but stands are purely souls. Then, My actual guardian spirit was, perhaps, Enya the Hag herself. I sometimes think that. In any case, those experiments were not in vain. I have now taken control of Jonathan's body. Besides, they still have a purpose in the future, in order for my friend and I to become one body. I have created a fundament from the many sacrifices, the many trials and errors of my experiments, that unique man, Nukesaku, included. It was absolutely not useless. Not useless. Entry 74. As I have said, my subordinates are handling it, but my mansion is currently host to my enemies, who intend to kill me. In this situation, I have questioned the idea of nonchalantly writing in a notebook, and whether this is the best thing to be doing. Nonetheless, I will continue writing in this notebook to prove that the Joestar group is of no importance to me. Earlier, Vanilla Ice woke me in an act of his loyalty. At other times, his loyalty keeps me awake. It is wakefulness I treasure. Even now, I am wakeful in a way that helps me make much more progress than usual. Ideas are becoming clear. This may be an effect of the Joestar bloodline. Perhaps, with its descendants so close, Jonathan's body is becoming active and it is having a good effect on my brain. In that way, Joseph Joestar and Jotaro Kujo are indirectly helping me find the path to heaven. If that is the case, I must not let this chance slip away. Before my subordinates, or if it comes to it, I myself eliminate Joseph Joestar and Jotaro Kujo, I must collect as many of my ideas as I can. My ideas for attaining heaven. While my mind feels clear, I will switch to a new page and search my memories. My final memories. My memories after Jonathan Joestar's Hamon defeated me and disintegrated my body.